new hot and techy Brezza, the city bred SUV.
What eventually will India's World Cup squad look like? Have you been asked this question at all in recent times?
Is there a World Cup, is there?
No?
300 times in the last 24 hours.
Every time I open my social feed, somebody is giving their 15. I don't care about them. I care about the three of you. But can you find to be on the same page with each other? Because it's tough to find even two sound voices agree on a 15-man squad with the resources India have.
Yeah, I think the question will come down to fast bowling spot, how many spinners you want to take, and wicket keeper. I think this is the major, talking point.
Right.
Some people are saying that Virat should open as well, so it might be a different point of view as well in terms of playing 11 combinations. So there'll be, I think, difference.
Okay. What I'd like to do now is run through the squads that we actually have of you. You did reveal your 15 to our friends at Star Sports, and we've done the hard work of actually running through those and seeing where you all agree and where you all disagree. And let's debate on the points of disagreement to see what the reasoning was. Let's start with Tom Moody's India World Cup 15 squad. Now, a number of these, if you've read Sid Monga's piece today on ESPN Cricinfo as well, you can understand that the top four is something the selectors were quite clear on and the team management was. Rohit, Jaiswal, Kohli and Surya. KL Rahul features. That's an interesting one for Tom. And he's also gone with Yuzvendra Chahal as the additional wrist spinner along with Kuldeep Yadav. Those are two names I want you to keep an eye out when it comes to Tom Moody. Let's now move to Aaron Finch's squad. Now, Finchy has Sanju Samson as the reserve wicketkeeper and not KL Rahul. Tom did not have Samson in his squad. And Avesh Khan as the extra bowler, a fast bowler, and not the extra wrist spinner that Tom had in Yuzvendra Chahal. And finally, let's see Irfan Pathan's. Now, I want him to fill that empty silhouette over there, Irfan, either Gill or Samson.
Yeah,
You've gone for Bishnoi as an additional wrist spinner. So your thinking is like Tom, you just changed the personnel. Firstly, you want to fill that for me?
Sanju Samson. Yes, because the more I'm seeing Sanju Samson, wicket key, bat, the way he's leading, actually, the more I'm getting confident that he should be there in the squad. Why I kept Gill / Sanju? Because I was just thinking that one of them, for sure, will travel in the team and the other one will travel as a travel reserve. So you would want to take Shubman Gill as well as a travel reserve because there will be bowlers who will be traveling with the team. There'll be probably a wicketkeeper if you don't want to take him in the playing in the top 15. Yeah. But I'll have two wicket keepers, Sanju as well as Rishabh Pant.
So let's say the three of you are selectors right now, or the two of you are selectors, and Tom is, say, team management, and he says, I want KL Rahul, but the selectors, as both of you have now agreed, want Sanju Samson. Give me your reasons, and you can counter and say why Samson ahead of Rahul in your case. Tom, talk to the selectors.
Yeah, I feel a bit intimidated by the selectors, to be honest with you, but
You're intimidated.
Look, the reason I went for KL Rahul, and this is a very difficult question, or decision to make, because you can throw Ishan Kishan in the mix there as well. And Jitesh, who was part of the Indian team in the T20 team before the IPL started. His IPL's been poor, so suddenly no one's talking about him. So the reason I went for KL Rahul is because he's got a lot of international experience across all three formats, so experience counts for a lot for me. Even though not in T20 as much, but in 50-over cricket, he's batted in multiple positions and done it successfully. I see this role as someone that is required to fill that position that Pant is not playing, and that is at number 5, more than likely. So I need someone that has the ability to be able to be versatile at number 5, but if the calling comes at the top of the order, KL Rahul could easily walk in to open the batting or to bat 3 as a specialist batter. So that was my reasoning. Sanju Samson, I 100% agree with Irfan about how impressive he's been this year, the consistency in his leadership, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, that was one of my very tough decisions, and I leant towards KL for those reasons.
I lean towards Sanju for the fact that there's enough experience already in the squad. I think that you look at the top 4, and Jaiswal's the only one with not a huge amount of international experience, but he's been playing so well that doesn't matter in my opinion. So you've got Rohit, Virat, Sky, Rishabh, Hardik. There's enough experience there. So I think at times you need the ignorance of youth almost, because I think we've seen in the past India go with the same lineup all the time, and they haven't won the World Cup since 2011. So I think that you need a breath of fresh air in there, and for me, Sanju gives that. I think along the same lines as you, but with Sanju, that he can bat anywhere. I think that he's got the ability to play at the top. He's got the ability to play in the middle order, down to number 5, I guess.
But he hasn't, sir.
But it doesn't matter.
Okay,
but
so you're hoping that he is.
No, but he can, because he's a good player. And he's a better wicket keeper, and I think that he's in better form. Okay. He's a more impactful player.
Yeah, and the other thing as well, what is happening right now in this ESPN Cricinfo room, I'm pretty certain it might happen in the selection committee as well, because might happen that Rahul Dravid say what Tom Moody is saying, I want KL Rahul. Selector might be saying, let's go with Sanju. It might happen. It might well happen, because KL Rahul has been liked by Rahul Dravid and the company purely because he has done well at the white ball cricket. One-day cricket, he's actually batted at 5 and he's done really well. But as a selector, if I'm sitting here, I'll say, okay, Sanju, he has improved a lot when it comes to playing spin. And if I have to compare between KL Rahul and Sanju Samson, if one of them is batting at 5, who will go from the word go against spinner?
Spin hitter.
Spin hitter.
What we are now classifying.
If you're comparing between the two, my first pick in playing 11 is Rishabh Pant, is not Sanju Samson. Rishabh Pant is my first choice as a wicket keeper because purely he's a left-hander and he's in solid form. His fitness is quite up there as well. But when it comes to choosing one of the two, Sanju will be ahead at the moment purely because KL Rahul, I wanted KL Rahul in this IPL to bat down the order. He's not batting down the order. And when it comes to World Cup, which is right after a few days, I want someone actually batting on a similar position. If I don't have a choice, because both of them, one is batting up, one is batting number 3. So now I'm going to look at the ability. Who can go from the word go? And I think Sanju Samson can go from the word go.
So you could argue the same. Why isn't Sanju Samson batting 5? Because that's the position we're filling.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's the same argument for both of them.
But he's coming in outside the power play more often. So he's getting the experience. It doesn't matter whether it's at 3 or whether it's at 5. As soon as you're outside the power play, it's all very similar. So he's actually doing that job at the moment, whereas KL's walking out marking centre first ball anyway.
Do you think in T20 cricket, KL Rahul, we've seen in the World Cup last time as well, he opened the inning in Australia. Can he, when the time comes, can he go from the word go when the spinner comes? Or do you feel that will Sanju do the better job because of the experience and because of the ability as well?
Well, as my role-playing position as the coach or team management, I'd like to say that I have witnessed over the last year or two that KL Rahul has shown superior skills against spin than Sanju Samson. So that's why I've lent towards KL Rahul, because I feel that he has the greater ability to rotate, spin and have an impact.
All right. Very healthy discussion, quite detailed. But in a way, moot, if all three of you have agreed that this is a reserve player at best you're picking. All three of you are picking Rishabh Pant as your first choice keeper?
Yes.
Yes.
So in which case, I'm guessing your logic is also, he's the most serviceable reserve, right? He covers for keeper and top order.
Yes.
But is there a case for Samson to be the number 1 keeper, which is what we are hearing with latest reports, that looking at the makeup of India's top 4, which has Rohit, Virat, Jaiswal and Surya, that they want the spin hitter, the better spin hitter there, and they might prefer Samson to Pant. In the 11, now I move from 15 to 11.
Yeah.
You've gone for Samson.
I think the left-hand option is too good. There's most teams have the ball turning into the left-hander as opposed to a finger spinner spinning away from the
That same question you've asked about Samson against spin or Rahul against spin. Is Pant your genuine spin hitter from ball 1?
He can be, yes. He can be. And the kind of form he has shown, he can definitely be the guy who can actually, doesn't matter who the bowler is, he can go from ball 1 to hit out of the park. The only thing is, Pant, I understand sometimes if you bowl that line outside the off stump, sometimes he can be actually get caught. He can actually be kept quiet as well. But I'm hoping that, that reverse sweep he has started, it might come into play as well. But at the same time, you've got to look at the form as well, and he's in form. And regularly batting for Delhi Capitals in the middle overs where he's facing the spinners at the start.
For me, Pant is absolute standout because I've watched his career like a lot of people have and admired him as a player. But what stands out to me is how he loves big moments and how he has won games, whether they be test matches or whatever they may be, for his country in big moments, gets big runs. And to me, that speaks volumes of what I want in a World Cup team. Yes, there's a great argument for Sanju Samson or KL Rahul to be the first choice keeper. At the end of the day, Rishabh Pant has done it for India in big moments.
Yep.
All right. Now, since we've moved already quickly from 15 to actually what India's best 11 would be, you think they would play their best 11 by and large? Not necessarily the team that would change it up as per conditions, which we expect with all their day games to not vary too much. So, as we look at a proposed 11 for the Indian team for the T20 World Cup, right? Timeout panel. Pant is the unanimous choice for keeper. Sharma, Jaiswal, Kohli, Surya, top 4 seems pretty set. Pandya, it looks like it will be one of Dubey or Rinku, with Ravindra Jadeja batting at number 8 to give India a little more depth. Kuldeep Yadav, Jasprit Bumrah and the extra seamer in either Siraj or Arshdeep.
So that's a 13 already. You can't say it's an 11 and then have slashes.
Let's call that right now then. Let's call that right now. One of Dubey or Rinku, or is Dubey now ahead of Rinku in the 11?
See, ideally, I would like to see both of them play, Dubey and Rinku, in terms of purely because Rinku has won the games for Team India just recently. And Dubey, we are talking about, he should be there. He should be there purely because of IPL performance and, the kind of hitting ability he has shown. And I would like him to be there.
How do you squeeze two of them in a...
So that put pressure on Hardik Pandya to perform. Look, Hardik Pandya, you don't want to leave him out as well. So this is the decision they will make. And that is why, in this playing 11, you see Ravindra Jadeja not batting at 7.
Yeah.
Ravindra Jadeja suddenly batting at number 8. And I don't mind that at all. Because when I see Ravindra Jadeja batting at number 7, I just feel that batting is slightly thin. I just feel that Ravindra Jadeja hasn't done enough as far as the T20 International is concerned to win the game for Team India. And that is when number 8 batting Ravindra Jadeja, I don't mind. But that will make Indian cricket, as far as the playing 11 is concerned, bowling slightly weaker than the Hardik Pandya. And
then you need Jadeja to bowl 4 and you need
100%.
Your seam bowling all-rounder.
Then I'll have an option not to play Jadeja also. Then I have an option to play one more spinner. One more proper wrist spinner in terms of Bishnoi as well. Why not?
But then your number 8, you're not worried about your number 8 batting.
Yeah, I won't have...
Don't worry about your number 8 in T20.
If I have top 7 batters, really good ones, who can win the games from no position, out of any position, I would be very happy not to bat at number 8. I'll have proper 5 bowlers.
Very easy for you to say. You'll have Cummins, Australia will have Cummins or Stark over there. You have those
Yeah.
It's an ideal world. You won't want that. But
Yeah.
if you
on average...
compromise
Okay,
on the
so you're
bowling.
saying not
On average,
to worry.
number 7 faces, 3, 4, 5 balls
So-
in international T20s.
Irfan,
Number 8 is irrelevant.
Coming
as a
back to
matter.
the point, Irfan says he doesn't mind a team where Dubey and Rinku feature, even if it means if Hardik Pandya doesn't strike form.
But then they've only got 4 bowlers, unless Dubey's
Dubey is your 5th bowler then.
Yeah, and has to bowl 4, because none of the top 4 bowl.
Yeah.
Plus
So
the keeper.
Jaswal's been working on his bowling, hasn't he?
He's going to have
Nobody
to.
gives him a run though. No one makes him bowl.
No, but he's bowling
He's
regularly.
going to have to.
He's
So
bowling regularly.
that's where India will come under the pump if they go with that makeup of the side. I think that they need to go the extra bowler, back their top 6 batters with Jadeja at 7. In a perfect
That's
world,
the thing, yeah.
Jadeja bats 8.
Yeah.
But I think for the makeup of the Indian side, he has to bat 7, so they can get 5 specialist bowlers in, and then they've got the option of Hardik, Rinku, or Dubey to bat at 6.
Is it not safer to have Dubey ahead of Rinku on the basis of current form? Even though Rinku's not done a lot wrong, he's not had as much impact as Dubey has. Then you've got Hardik, Dubey and Jadeja playing, so you at least have cover.
I personally would go with Rinku ahead of Dubey to begin with, and I'd go Hardik ahead of Dubey to begin with. That is my starting combination.
Hardik at 6, Jadu 7.
Well, again, I think that argument's another argument in that I think that depends on what's in front of you, who you're playing, what are the conditions like, all those types of things. I quite like the idea of playing all 3 spinners as well. And to me, India need to look at how are they going to win this World Cup? What is the brand of cricket that's going to suit us and the people that we select to win this World Cup? Are we, because there are different ways you can go about playing the game. And India need to understand what that brand is, and that's down to the coach, the captain and the chairman of selectors to work out, okay, well, this is the brand that we feel. We all agree this is the brand we need to play. Let's select the team and then select the 11 to complement what we believe is the brand we need to play.
In the lead up to the T20 World Cup in Dubai that we went on to win, Australia went on to win, we were playing two spinners the whole time in Agar and Zampa, and we went a bat a lot, and we felt as though it was literally the day before our first game. We just had a feeling that you need to take power play wickets. It doesn't matter who's bowling towards the back end of a game. If you don't get wickets up front, it doesn't matter who's bowling. You're going to get hurt anyway. So that's why we went with three quicks and the extra batter. And for us, that worked because we had all-rounders in Mitch Marsh, Marcus Stoinis, Glenn Maxwell, to be that fifth bowler and make up the 4 overs there. That's where India, not having any other bowlers in their top 5, makes it a really tough decision. Whichever way you go, whether you play 2 quicks and 2 spinners or 3 and 2, it's just, like you said, it's just a brand of cricket, and you have to be prepared, not as a team, but as a selection group, including the captain. You have to be prepared to lose a game a certain way. So if you're prepared to go in with 4 bowlers, you have to be prepared that you're going to fall short with the ball at some point. And you have to wear that and you accept it, because they don't have a world-class all-rounder in terms of a guaranteed 4-over bowler who can bat in the top 6. And then if you go the other way and you decide to play 5 genuine bowlers, you have to understand that at times you might leave yourself a bit short with runs if you lose wickets early. And you accept that and you walk away from it and say, you know what, we need to find an all-rounder.
And I want India to play really fearless cricket. Fearless cricket, because what I saw in Australia in 2022 from the close quarter, I was there at the ground as well, felt like that at the start, they're thinking about, we don't have a big batting lineup. That's what I felt in T20 World Cup. And in a 50-over World Cup as well, that's what I felt. They are looking back. They're thinking, what if I get out? What will happen next? We don't have that bigger batting lineup. If we stop doing that, if we just don't worry and just play aggressive cricket, we'll get the result, because we are there and thereabout. Either we're playing semi-final or we're playing final. So it's not that we're playing a cricket where we're actually going out of the game at the start of the big tournament. So I want Indian cricket to play fearless cricket no matter what combination they play. And that's why I want guys like Rinku or Shivam Dube somehow to be there in the playing 11, because they're playing fearless cricket and they need to be, be supported and, guided them. And this is where I think new age cricket comes into play as well. Dube, from the first ball, he goes out of the park against spinners. Rinku Singh, he's not got enough chances, but he's just going out of the park from the ball 1.
So that's another question.
Yeah.
Why is Rinku not getting enough opportunity for KKR? Guys keep coming in front of him, and he ends up he's batted at 7 when we've established that he's one of the best finishers in India.
Let's call Shreyas.
That's a question for the KKR management.
But do you think that would be a worry for India?
Add the impact, but the franchises don't carry the burden of what the Indian team needs.
Yeah, but would that be worrying India? That you
100%. Dube not bowling worries India.
And also
impact rule.
KL Rahul not batting 4, which was heatedly debated before the start of the IPL. Just on your point around the fearless cricket, I agree with that, but where I beg to differ a little bit is that it's got to be up front. Because if you've got Surya Kumar Yadav batting at 4, you can't have arguably the best T20 player in the world waiting to go into bat while the top 3 are playing a reasonably conservative brand of cricket.
Absolutely.
You cannot have him waiting. So that position there, having him positioned there, plus also the other players that we talked about at 5 and 6, it allows you to play that fearless brand at 1, 2 and 3, take the game on in the power play and get ahead of the game, because you've got one of the best in the world yet to come in to be able to do what he does in the middle overs and the back end.
Yeah. We can only assume that if we can use the phrase going back, but if the selectors have gone back to Rohit and Kohli, it has to be with the message that they play differently than we've seen perhaps at previous T20 World Cups. In which case you'll have Surya at 4. But how do you lengthen this batting lineup? You can't play fearlessly if Jadeja is batting at 7.
Why not? Why not? When we won the World Cup in 2007, we played fearless cricket. I was batting at number 7. And my batting at that particular time, I could hit 6s. But if you look at it, I was no Shivam Dube. But, he was... regularly, I was batting at 7. We won the World Cup, and at the top, they were playing fearless cricket.
And how many games did you bat? Do you
exactly.
Reckon? How many?
Exactly, just few games.
Changed since then.
You don't
has changed. I understand.
Yeah. You don't win World Cups. You don't win World Cups looking at what you fear. You win World Cups of what you're good at. So don't look at the little areas that you're referring to of slight little weakness or worry. Oh, I haven't got a fifth bowler. Well, you've got two people that can make up that fifth bowler. Or if you're playing five specialist bowlers, I'm backing my top six because have a look at my top six. Have a look at those.
India found that design in the 50-over World Cup, even though they lost Hardik Pandya. They went with a slightly shorter batting.
And the people need to understand that in the World Cup, they will not have impact rule. So don't expect the scores to be 250. You know, it will be, if you scored about 180, 200, it will be good score. And in West Indies, things might be different. In West Indies, actually, if the pitches are somewhat like CPL, obviously, I hope it's not the case, but there'll be lot more for the bowlers to play in with. So that's why your fifth and sixth bowler will do a great job despite, you know, if you're bowling thin, you can play four bowlers as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah, so
I will do another session like this after the squad is announced on what pitch India should take with them.
We're going to need to sit on a different couch, I reckon, if we're going to keep going like this.
Yes, let's put a pin in it for now. Very quickly though, Finch is the only one who's not gone for an extra wrist spinner in the 15. He's gone for an extra seamer. Both of you, the thought is the same, just the personnel changes. Tom says Chahal, Irfan says Bishnoi. Any reason why you've not gone for an extra wristy?
I think with how the quicks are bowling besides Bumrah, that there's too much up in the air there. So I think you need the cover of the extra quick. And I can't see three wrist spinners or three spinners playing in the same team. I just think it's too hard to get the overs out.
Two wrist spinners and Jadeja, yes.
Yes, especially when none of them are... it's not like they're a Tikshana or a...
mystery spinner.
Yeah, a spinner who bowls exclusively with the new ball. Tikshana, Mujib, these guys that bowl all the time with the new ball, they'd be preferred to be used through the middle.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.